Two men walked into my clinic on the same day last week. Same age, 63, both of them. The first one gripped the door frame just to steady himself. He lowered himself into the chair like his own body couldn't be trusted anymore. I asked how he was doing. He said, "Dr. Roberto, I'm just getting old." The second one walked in like he owned the place. Sat down without a second of hesitation, sharp eyes, a handshake that actually meant something. I asked him the same question. He smiled and said, "I'm just getting started." Same age, two completely different men. And here's the part that should stop you cold. The difference between them had nothing to do with luck, nothing to do with genetics. It came down to 7 specific abilities, 7 things one man could still do, and the other had quietly stopped doing years earlier without even noticing. If you can still do all 7 of these, you're not just surviving your 60s, you're dominating them. Here's what the world has been telling men over 60, sometimes out loud, sometimes without saying a word at all. That decline is inevitable, that weakness is just part of the deal now, that your best years are behind you, and the only thing left to do is manage the fall gracefully. I need you to hear this clearly. That is one of the most dangerous lies a man can believe. I'm Dr. Roberto. I've spent 12 years in clinical practice working almost exclusively with men over 60, and here's the pattern I keep seeing over and over, without exception. Age doesn't weaken men. Stopping does. If you want more simple, science-based health information that could help you protect your health as you get older, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. So let's find out exactly where you stand, right now, today. I'm going to walk you through 7 tests, 7 markers. And as we go through each one, I want brutal honesty from you. Not because this is a judgment, but because real awareness is the only thing that lets you either protect what you've still got or start rebuilding what you've already lost. And before we go any further, here's the most important thing in this entire video. Every single one of these 7 abilities is trainable. At 60, at 70, at 80. None of them are fixed. All of them are still in your hands. Let's begin. Marker number 1, the rising test. This one measures your functional strength. Can you get up off the floor without using your hands? Not slowly, not with a chair nearby, not rolling to your side and pushing yourself up with both arms. Straight up, from sitting on the floor, legs alone. Try it right now if you're able to. Because if you did that without hesitation, you just outperformed more than 65% of men your age. This isn't a party trick. Researchers in Brazil studied over 2,000 men and women and found that the ability to rise from the floor unassisted is one of the strongest single predictors of how long a man will live. Not how far he can run, not how much he can bench. This one movement, why does it matter so much? Because it demands leg strength, hip mobility, core stability, and balance, all firing together at once. It's a snapshot of your entire functional reserve, the engine your body relies on to keep you independent, active, and alive. In 12 years of practice, this single test has told me more about a man's true health than most lab results I've ever ordered. If you struggled just now, don't panic. Start sitting on the floor every single day. Not the couch, not the bed, the floor. Remind your body of something it already knows how to do. Marker number 2, the walking test. This one measures your heart and your joints. Can you still walk for 30 minutes straight without something forcing you to stop? Not running, not hiking, just walking, no knees giving out, no hips seizing up, no breathlessness sending you to the nearest bench. If you can walk for 30 minutes and finish feeling capable, not wrecked, then your cardiovascular system and your musculoskeletal system are still talking to each other the way they're supposed to. This marker might matter more than any other one on this list because walking is the foundation of independence. It decides whether you can travel, whether you can chase your grandkids around without counting your steps, whether you move through the world on your own terms or someone else's. I've sat across from men who told me they quietly stopped walking because their joints ached a little. 5 years later, they could barely make it to the end of their own street. The joint didn't kill the walking. The walking stopping is what killed the joint. Men who can walk freely, live freely. It really is that simple. If 30 minutes feels impossible right now, start with 10. Add 2 minutes a week. Your body will adapt faster than you expect because it was built to. Marker number 3, the wanting test. This one measures your sense of purpose. Can you still wake up most mornings wanting something? Not every morning, not some perfect movie version morning. Most mornings, a project pulling at you, a person you're looking forward to seeing, a problem you actually want to solve, something that pulls you out of bed with direction instead of pushing you out of bed with obligation. This is the marker most men never expect to see on a list like this. But I put it here because in 12 years of clinical practice, I've watched a loss of purpose take men down faster than almost any disease I treat. When a man loses his sense of wanting, when every single morning feels flat and identical, his cortisol climbs, his testosterone drops, his immune system weakens, his cardiovascular health slides, the body follows wherever the mind surrenders. But give a man something to move toward, and every system in his body gets the same message. Keep going, we're not finished yet. If you've lost your wanting, don't try to fix everything at once. Find one thing this week, just one. A book, a project, a person. Wanting is a muscle. Use it or lose it. Quick question before we move to marker 4I. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city in the comments. I read every single one. Marker number 4, the grip test. This one measures your raw physical power. Can you carry your own groceries with both arms and not feel it for 3 days afterward? 2 full bags, 1 in each hand, up the stairs, into the kitchen. No shaking arms, no seizing back, no collapsing into a chair the second you're done. If you handled that without a problem, your grip strength, your shoulder stability, and your posterior chain are still doing what most men your age have quietly lost. Grip strength is one of the most studied aging markers in all of medicine. Study after study shows it predicts heart attack risk, cognitive decline, disability risk, and lifespan free in some populations more accurately than blood pressure does. I've watched this play out across 12 years of patients. The men with the strongest hands are almost always the men still living independently, still driving themselves, still doing things for other people instead of waiting for someone to do things for them. Your hands tell the whole story. Strong hands mean strong muscle, strong connective tissue, a nervous system that's still firing correctly. Grip doesn't lie. If yours has slipped, start squeezing something. A rubber ball, a hand gripper, even a rolled up towel. 2 minutes a day. You'll be genuinely surprised how fast grip strength responds to training. Marker number 5, the memory test. This one measures your brain sharpness. Can you still recall the name of someone you met exactly once, a week ago? Not a lifelong friend? Not a coworker you see daily? Someone you met one time, 7 days ago? Can you pull their name up without anyone prompting you? If the answer is yes, your hippocampus, your brain's memory and learning center, is still forming and retrieving new connections efficiently. You're still capable of being fully present in a new conversation instead of quietly nodding along and hoping you catch up. Most men treat memory fog as an inevitable part of getting older. It isn't. And I want to be very clear about this. As a doctor, forgetting names, misplacing your keys, living in a bit of a mental haze, these are symptoms, not sentences. They're signals that your brain isn't getting what it needs. Blood flow, sleep, stimulation, real challenge. I've watched men in my practice recover mental sharpness they were convinced was gone for good simply by moving their bodies, fixing their sleep, and giving their brain something worth chewing on. The fastest way to protect your memory is also the cheapest one. Move your body daily. Learn one new thing a week. Have actual conversations, not background noise. Your brain stays plastic at 60, at 70, and beyond. It shapes itself around whatever you actually do with it, so use it like you plan on keeping it. Marker number 6, the composure test. This one measures your emotional strength. Can you sit through a hard conversation without shutting down or blowing up? Someone challenges you, disagrees with you, says something you really don't want to hear. Can you stay in the room, listen without going cold, speak without going nuclear? That's emotional regulation, and it's one of the most underrated markers of a strong man past 60. A lot of men carry decades of unexpressed frustration, grief, and disappointment into their 60s, and the body keeps score. Chronic emotional suppression raises cortisol, damages your arterial walls, disrupts sleep, and speeds up cognitive decline. A man who can't regulate his emotions isn't just harder to be around. He's actively doing damage to his own biology. I've had patients walk in with chest pain, high blood pressure, chronic insomnia, and once we actually talked, the real diagnosis was 40 years of feelings that never had anywhere to go. But a man who can sit in discomfort, hear something hard, and respond with a level head. That man has built something most men never do, genuine emotional strength. And it's a real, measurable predictor of a longer life. If this is your weak spot, start small. When you feel yourself reacting, breathe before you speak. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. It sounds too simple to matter. The effect on your body is not small at all. Marker number 7, the presence test. This one measures your vitality and your impact. Can you still walk into a room and make other people feel better just by being there? Not because you're performing, not because you're the loudest voice at the table, just because of the way you carry yourself. Steady, grounded, genuinely interested in the people around you. This is the marker that ties every other one together. A man who can rise off the floor, walk without pain, wake up wanting something, carry his own weight, remember the names of people he just met, and stay level-headed in hard conversations. That man walks into a room differently than the one who's given up on all 7. People feel it before they can explain it. It shows up in your posture, your eye contact, the way you actually listen instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. Presence isn't charisma you're born with. It's the visible result of everything else on this list still working. If you're not sure whether you have it, ask yourself this. After a conversation with you, do people tend to leave a little lighter than when they arrived? If you're not sure, that's your answer. And it's not a life sentence either. So here's where that leaves you. 7 markers, 7 honest questions. Some of you just crushed every single one of them. And if that's you, good. Now protect it. Most of you found at least 1 or 2 spots that need work. And that is not bad news. That's information. That's a starting line, not a verdict. Because remember what I told you at the beginning, none of these 7 abilities are fixed. Not at 60, not at 70, not at 80. Every one of them responds to what you do starting today. Pick the one marker that hit closest to home, just one. Work on it this week. That's how the man in my waiting room who says, I'm just getting started, got to be that man, not all at once. One marker at a time. If this gave you something to work with, subscribe. I put out a new video like this every week, built entirely around what I'm seeing in men over 60, right here in clinic. I'll see you in the next one.